Well, now in our journey to Infinity War, it's time to talk about the one, the only. Welcome back, everybody, to my journey to Marvel's Infinity War. If you haven't been here for the past few episodes, then let me catch you up. I decided, starting April 9th through April 27th, I was going to review every film within the Marvel Cinematic Universe leading up to Marvel's Infinity War. We've gone through Marvel Phase 1, Phase 2, now we're on to Phase 3, and now it's time to talk about Spider-Man. If you couldn't already tell from the shirt, I'm a pretty big fan of the character. I love Spider-Man, and Tom Holland's interpretation of the character is by far my favorite. Honestly, Spider-Man Homecoming, it's literally the story of Peter Parker of Spider-Man trying to deal with life in high school while also trying to be a superhero. When a new villain played by Michael Keaton, the Vulture, steps in, and now he's got to solve that while also trying to deal with Tony Stark, and Peter Parker Spider-Man's life is about to get more complicated. And what I can say about Spider-Man Homecoming, I am a big fan of the Spider-Man character. Spider-Man Homecoming, I think it is a good film. I don't think it's a great one. I don't necessarily think it's one of the best films within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Although, the best part about this movie by far is Tom Holland as Spider-Man. Tom Holland's interpretation of Spider-Man is what I've been waiting for such a long time. I mean, I enjoyed Andrew Garfield's interpretation of Spider-Man, and I also really thoroughly enjoyed Tobey Maguire's interpretation of the character. But Tom Holland as Spider-Man, he was a kid in high school. Him not only as Spider-Man, but also as Peter Parker, it really struck a chord with me because, here's the thing. The one thing that makes Spider-Man great is he's a nerd. He's a kid trying to go through high school, but he also has a responsibility of being a superhero. If you're a young kid, if you're a teenager, if you're somebody going through high school and you've got responsibilities on your shoulders, this is a movie that you ultimately can connect with because Tom Holland, Peter Parker, and Spider-Man, he has responsibility of protecting the people of his city and also of just being a regular kid. This movie is basically Edge of 17 meets Spider-Man. And what I like about it is the fact that this film, even though it is a Marvel Cinematic Universe film, it does allow the kids to curse. It allows them to talk like kids. It's great. And the other performances in here were pretty good too. I'll say that Zendaya, this was my first introduction to her as a mainstream actress before I saw her in The Greatest Showman. And you know what? I really enjoyed her performance in here. I thought it was very good. There is one aspect about her character I'm not going to get into that I hated, downright despised, but at the end of the day, I thought she did a really good job. But man, the individual who plays Tom Holland's friend, I don't have his name in front of me right now, but he was one of the best parts of the movie. He cracked me up. And that's one of the things that I really do like about Spider-Man Homecoming, is that the movie is very, very cleverly written. It's very well written. I mean, it's funny. It's a very witty and funny film. It's an adventure comedy. And when you have Spider-Man's sarcasm, that almost, more cleaner version of Deadpool humor that doesn't break the fourth wall, you pretty much have Spider-Man's sense of comedy. And I thought it was just flat out great. And let's be honest, one of the biggest reasons why this film succeeds so well is because of Michael Keaton's interpretation of the Vulture. The Vulture in this film, his character has so much about him that actually makes him human, that he makes him one of my favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe villains. Because, well, I'm not going to get into spoilers, but there is some aspect of his character. He made me my favorite villain since Loki. In fact, I think he is the best villain we've gotten up to Spider-Man Homecoming since Loki. I'll talk about other cinematic universe films as we journey on, but let's continue here. Michael Keaton, he was menacing, you understood where he was coming from, just everything that makes a great villain, Michael Keaton's The Vulture really encompasses. Now, amongst all the web-swinging action that was really awesome to see, and Michael Keaton's interpretation of The Vulture, and all the fantastic performances and interpretations of characters we got in here, There's one big issue I have with Spider-Man Homecoming, and that's the pacing of the movie. I believe the movie's about 2 hours, maybe 2 hours and 10 minutes long. And there was at some point the pacing in this movie, it dragged on for me. I know this isn't an issue for a lot of other people. And it is something that I have gotten into, calm disputes with my friends over. It's the fact that although Spider-Man Homecoming, I feel, is a great Spider-Man character piece and a great film with great performances, the thing that brings it down so heavily for me is that I honestly felt as though 25 minutes could have been taken off of this. I mean, if Spider-Man Homecoming had been brought down to about an hour and 45 minutes, for me personally, I feel like it would have been absolutely perfect. But as a whole, it does drag it down for me. And originally when I first saw this film, I don't know if you guys remember when I first saw Spider-Man Homecoming, the high school aspect of it is something that I didn't really enjoy the first time I saw it. On the past couple of times I have rewatched it, I will say the high school aspect of it, it's one of my favorite aspects of it. I mean, everything from the beginning to the end, the only big major problem I have with Spider-Man Homecoming is the pacing, and it does drag it down quite a bit for me. And I apologize to anybody who loves this film. If you do, I completely get it. The pacing is not going to be, it's not going to be for everybody. I mean, my issues with the film are not going to be your issues with the film. That's why having great opinions is different. But guys, at the end of the day, what I have to say is I really enjoy Spider-Man Homecoming. It's a great addition. We've been waiting for Spider-Man to get into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He got his own solo film, and this is a great introduction to his overall world and Peter Parker's overall world and Tom Holland's overall world of being Spider-Man. So at the end of the day, with all the great performances, the action and everything, I'll say that Spider-Man Homecoming is a casual watch. Alright everybody, I hope you enjoyed that review, and just remember, on our journey to Infinity War, I didn't get to this first, but after I reviewed Captain America Civil War, I really should have, but I apologize for that. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about Dr. Stephen Strange. That's going to be awesome, so I hope you're there to see it. I really can't wait for you guys to be there. Thank you so much for showing up, and as always, it is what you say that matters. So have you had a chance to see Spider-Man Homecoming, and what did you think of it? More importantly, what is your overall thoughts about this film and Tom Holland's performance? Whatever those thoughts may be, leave them in the comment section below so we can get a conversation started. And if you enjoyed what you've seen here and you'll want to see more, click right there and subscribe and become part of the fray of nerds who love cinema. You all have a fantastic day.